What's the crack, Big Scott here? All Leeds TV. Of course it is. Make sure before we get into this that you do that usual and you smash that wee like button. That would just be fantastic. So press conference for the Chelsea match is now over. And yet again, Jesse March leaves that warm and fuzzy feeling inside my belly after that. Couple of things that I want to address from it that have led me to be as optimist as ever, as positive as I can be. Sinisterra is fit to play. I dare say he will be in that starting lineup. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. Again, this depends if Rodrigo's going to start up front. Who knows? Who knows? I really hope it's not James starting up front, please. Please. Why are people convinced that James is a striker? Bielsa played him up there a few times and now March has come in and it just seems to be, oh yeah, well James can play there too. Where I'm feeling confident in is that from the get-go, he knows where we went wrong against Southampton. He knows what we've done well. The team know what we've done well. And the team know where it went wrong. It will all change. And I do believe that against Chelsea, it's going to be a bit different. Obviously, Chelsea, completely different level of what we've played so far. And yes, look, the outcome is one thing. But look, we'll get into that in a little bit. Transfer business was discussed quite a bit during the press conference. And I want to address a couple of things on that. Firstly, the left-back situation as well. Now, we run a poll on the Twitter and Facebook and everywhere just to see what a lot of you thought on the situation. What's more important? Do we need a left-back? Do we need a striker? Is there another position? And overwhelmingly, I think it was around 60 or between 60 and 70% roughly overall saying that we need a striker, which is where I tend to agree as well. And obviously, the other day, Tash even called me up and says, am I mad that I don't think we need a left back? And do you know what? There's many would say that we do need a left back. The reason I think we don't need one is exactly why Jesse March said we don't need one. Pascal Struijk has been playing there, and for me, he's been doing a job. And yes, I can see the argument of people saying, well, if he's playing left back and another centre back gets injured, we're like there. Look, there's so many things you could say, if this, if that. Jesse Marsh seems convinced, happy, and comfortable with the left back options we have. So much like last season, and I will say it, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but last season, whenever Bielsa, as we now know, refused players and said we're enough and we didn't need this and we didn't need that, and people blamed him for that, the same thing will apply to Jesse March if that goes tits up. But I do agree with him, and I love that he's vindicated what I feel on it, on the left back situation, and it is a case of we don't need any. He's happy with the fact that Firpo's near ready to play. Pascal's doing a job there, and Leo Helder is also an option for there. Up front, a different story though. Interesting story on Wilfred Gnonto. About 3-4 weeks ago, my brother, he's heavily involved in Linfield Football Club, and he was speaking to a Swiss scout at the Linfield Zurich game, and he comes to me and says, Leeds are after Wilfred Gnonto. I said, who? He says, a fella that scored the second goal against Linfield tonight. I was like, oh, right, okay. Young lad, and whenever I watched it back, I thought, you know what, he looks pretty decent. And he's got longevity because he is young. He is young. My concern, is it going to be another signing for a developmental side to sell on later, or what's it going to be? Who knows? Who knows? But he does look good. He does look good. Whenever you've got Rodrigo playing up top and knocking in goals, knowing Joffrey's coming back, and that Bamford is a good backup option. And I'm sorry if this offends anyone, but I am no longer referring to Bamford as our first choice striker, because he simply cannot be our first choice striker. And some will say this is controversial, whatever, but he had one particularly standout season. He's in his fourth now. His third season, he was non-existent because he was injured. No, his fifth season, isn't it? Yeah. So look, Bamford is not the number one option. The number one option is not Bamford for me. And I think this is where the dilemma is coming in, is that if Rodrigo's playing well there, he's leading the line and we're scoring goals, no big money striker is going to want to come and sit on the bench behind Rodrigo, behind Bamford, then taking time away from Joffrey. Then if we're going spending money on bringing in youngsters again, us fans are moaning and complaining about it. And this is the one thing that I have quickly learned, the more involved I've been with Leeds, particularly on the vlog stuff side of things, is that us Leeds fans are never happy. We could have signed CDK and people would still be going, oh, he's unproven in the Premier League, blah, blah, blah. It is what it is until it isn't. So, yeah, look, you can please some of the people all the time, or all the people none of the time, or something. There's a saying there. But look, when it comes to the striker situation, I do believe we need one. Me personally, I do believe we need someone like João Pedro from Watford. And there's so many that we've been rumoured to go for and we haven't. And from what Jesse Marsh is telling us, that there's a bit of work going on in the background. So there is movement there, but there's not enough for any reliable rumours to come out. And that's why we haven't done any videos on it. I've been speaking to my sources and they don't have anything concrete or reliable. So until we get concrete, reliable information ourselves, we're not going to be spewing out that we're linked to this, we're linked to that, we're linked to that. Because as it stands at the minute, the only thing that looks like it's about to happen is Wilfred Gnonto. Wilfred Gnonto. What is it with silent letters? So that's that. And that's, again, the sense I'm getting from Marsh as well today. Now, Chelsea. On to Chelsea. And one of the things I loved about Marsh today, there's two things I really loved about Marsh today, and one of them was he called a spade a spade. If you get a red card as a manager, you will not be on the touchline. You will not be sitting at the bench. Is he wrong? Like, what the hell? If a player gets a red card, they're not playing the next game. They're not playing, they're suspended. So 100%, I love that March did not stray away from that or pussyfoot around the topic or even refuse the answer. Flat out said he would be disappointed if 𝐾𝐄 is not suspended, because those are the rules. Those are the rules. So if 𝐾𝐄 is there, again, it's more exceptions being made for these elite Big Six clubs. It is what it is. But one of the other things that just made me love Jesse March even more today was saying about embracing the identity of our club. And this is something that I have felt, and many of us at All Leeds TV, I'm not going to speak for anyone else, I'll speak for myself just now, feel that from we have been in this Premier League, this half and half scarf, whitewashed, watered down version of Leeds keeps trying to be fed, force-fed to everyone, and that is not the identity of Leeds. We are not a half and half scarf. Let's all hug and whatever. We are dirty Leeds, and that is our identity. And that is what we need to see from these players, especially against a team like Chelsea. Now, we're going to get into how I think the match is going to go and my lineup expectations and stuff. So please do make sure, if you are watching right now live, smash that like button for me, please. Please do remember there's going to be much more content coming out later as well. Oscar will have his lineup predictor. I do believe there's an opposition preview. I could be wrong. I've been a wee bit out of the loop this week. We're coaching the Suns team and clown work and all sorts. But yes, so this Sunday, toughest challenge so far this season. We've had a good start. We had 4 points. It's a better start than others, we won't say. But I honestly, 200% don't expect a win on Sunday. I don't, and I have to just be real here. I don't believe we will get the win, but I believe we can get the win. Again, I'm going to sound so contradictory here. On paper, I think I said this in a tweet to someone. On paper, just want to welcome Janet Coyle, new member to the channel. Woohoo! Thank you very, very much. That's the one, Tim. You can please some of the people, or something like that. Or it's nearly there. Right, so yes, on paper, Chelsea have us beat. Dear man, there's no planet where you can honestly look at this on paper and say, oh, Leeds get all 3 points. That's just facts. You look at that on paper, and we're not taking anything. Okay? That's out of the way, because you don't play football on paper. There's 11 men on one side and 11 men on the other side. And see, whichever team wants that win the most, they'll get it. It doesn't come down to how big your name is, how much you were bought for, how much your wage is, how many trophies you have to your name. It'll come down to, on the day, who works their ass off, who battles and fights and gets the 3 points. Now, obviously, certain referees and decisions can influence that. But overall, I do believe that I'm not going to look at it on a paper, a match being played on paper. I do believe that if the right Leeds mentality shows up, the right team, the right players, in the right mindset, if they show up, no reason why we can't get a win. There's no reason why we can't. Realistically, I'm saying we're probably going to, I think I would take a draw. I'm not one of those people that say, oh, I'll take a draw now, because I won't. I'd be happy with a draw, depending on how we play. Again, as long as we don't get absolutely slapped about, if we don't get slapped about like we did last season when we played all these, you know, whenever before Jesse Marsh came in, and again, I don't want to sound like I'm upsetting you lot, you know who you are. Before Jesse Marsh came in and saved us, we went up against these teams and you expected to concede 4 or 5. And I'm not expecting to concede 4 or 5 against any of them this year. And that is the God's honest truth. If we lost 2-1, there's no shame in that. There's no shame in that. As long as we show up and put the effort in. I do think we can do our best and get a draw out of it. But again, it all comes down to who shows up. For me, if I was picking the team right now, my starting 11 is essentially going to be almost unchanged, apart from that front 4. I'd be starting with Harrison on the right. This is a debate me and Oscar have discussed several times, because I've said when Cinny's fit and available, I'd love to see him on the right. Oscar like to remind me that Cinny's better on the left and Harrison can still do a job on the right. Cinny can also play up front, if you are not aware. So for me, I would be keeping it the same. You know, Meslier and nets. Rasmus, the number 1 choice at right back. I don't care how close Ayling is to fitness. He ain't playing. Even Cody Drama for me should be starting against Barnsley next week when I'm over. Centre backs, Koch and Llorente. Left back, Pascal Strike. And I'll be honest, whenever Firpo's fit as well, I would still be keeping Pascal in there until you know Firpo's going to be able to do the job. Play him against some of the other teams that we're going right. I don't know, but I would be sticking with Pascal there for now, simply because I'm a massive Strike fan. Obviously, the CDMs with Rocca and Tyler Adams. For me, that's unchanged. That's a moot point. There's no point debating that. There's no one touching that. And yes, 𝐶𝐂 coming on as a super sub at some point to help see the game out, to help bolster us defensively, to help us attack a bit more. Please do get your comments in here. Let me know what you think's going to happen. Who do you think's going to play? What the score is going to be? Whatever you think, please do let me know in these comments. I will flash some of them up. But in the attack, that offensive line, as we're going to call it, since we're Americanized a little smidge, left wing for me is Luis Sinisterra all day long. Brendan Aronson right there in the 10. Jack Harrison out in the right. And Rodrigo up top with the captain's armband as well. Because you know what? Jesse Marsh pointed out in the press conference something that I had completely forgotten and overlooked. That when Bamford went off, Rodrigo took the captain's armband. And he worked and he fought. So, yeah, there's obviously lots of stuff going on in training, in the changing rooms that we don't see. Obviously, a lot of us fans haven't exactly been the biggest admirers of Rodrigo in his first 2 years. We're starting to see something a bit different here in Rodrigo, and I like it. I like it, and I want it to continue. So please do let me know here in your comments. What are you thinking about the left-back situation? What are you thinking about the striker situation? Do you think we will actually sign anything or anyone? Simply as Jesse has said it there in the press conference, that he does expect some movement before the window closes. So let me see what you guys are saying in the comments. Tim Blythe over there watching on or listening on Facebook, enjoying listening. Thanks very much. And he also corrected me on the wee saying, you can please some of the people all the time and all of the people some of the time, but you can't please all the people all the time. That's exactly what I was trying to say. Let me see. So Stevie G, thank you very, very much for tuning in here. It's back to the missing left back. It pulls all our back line out of kilter. Again, thank you for sharing. Danny Rumsey, what's the crack, mucker? Hope you are well. You're going 2-1 Leeds. I love that optimism. I love that optimism. I know I've said that I'm essentially expecting us to get beat, but this is the kind of scoreline that I can see happening still. Again, let's not forget that last December we should have beat them, and this season I don't want to be saying all this. We should have or could have or whatever. I want to see what we have done. So yeah, Pascal to get the 92nd minute header back of the post for the win. I'll take it. I will take it all day long. Afternoon, big man, Ben Turner. Let's hope we can manage a point from this one, but you're not holding your breath. Thank you for tuning in. Ted Garn, exactly. We're not living in the days of you have to have so many minutes for the under 21s they are now before you can start. If he's fit, he's a professional footballer. If you're fit enough to play, you play. That's the way I see it. And that's what I tell the boys in the team that I'm coaching. Michael Pollard, what is the crack? Worried about the attacking potency. It's different without a big centre forward focal point. I think you meant it is focal point. You're correct there. From that gets the best of Jack and Brendan and co. Well, I honestly think, Rodrigo up there, I think that will do the job. That'll do the ticket. But again, we do need more options there, 100%. Also, welcome aboard, being a new member on the channel. Must have started a new account there, did you? Alison, what is the crack, my dear? I hope you are well. I hope you enjoyed the match there last time you were over. No left back, but a centre forward could happen. I do agree. It looks most likely that Wilfred Gonto or Gnatto. I need to ask my brother how that's pronounced. It looks most likely he's going to be the one we're saying, but I do believe we need someone with a bit more caliber. But again, is that just trying to please the fans? You know, if we sign someone like that, is that to please the fans, or is that because it will make the team better? Jesse said it himself. He's only signing someone if it's the right guy. He only wants the right guy. Alison, As optimist as ever. I look, you can tell you're a diehard long-term Leeds fan. 3 or 4 to Chelsea. I don't think we get, pardon my French, I don't think we get dicked by anyone this year. For touch wood. Let me see. Bamford is Leeds Darren Anderton sick note. Yeah, again, I said it in the armchair fan cam that Bamford is not the first choice striker. He's the backup. We don't need backup for Bamford. He is the backup. And left back, again, a lot of people do seem to think and want us to have another left back option. Marsh seems comfortable with the options there. I've been comfortable with them as well, so I'm not too fussed on that. Let me see. 𝐉𝐻𝐈𝐍, let's see what you have to say. We'll be competitive for 60 minutes, then run out of steam. Marsh will make the wrong substitutions, leave it too late. Then he'll say, I'm so proud of this fantastic group of young men. All right. Yeah, a lot of people saying don't understand why we're gambling with the club in regards to the striker situation. And again, it is a very valid point here. If we don't sign someone, are we going to end up in another relegation scrap? I said in our preseason predictions, I'm not expecting us to be sort of pushing into the top 10. I know a lot of Leeds fans have this overwhelming belief and conviction that we're going to be pushing for Europe. Listen, we should be sitting on 6 points right now, really. But before the season started, if you'd said, would you take 4 from your first 2? Of course you would. Of course you would. And to be honest, I think it would have been the other way around. I think would have settled with a point from Wolves and the win from Southampton. But listen, you get what you get. There's nothing saying that we don't beat Chelsea on Sunday. There's nothing saying that we can't beat them. In my opinion, I just don't feel we are ready for that type of challenge yet. I'm not even going to say what some others say, but that is my opinion as it stands right now. DB Lee, what is the crack, mucker? You need to tell your daughter to hurry up and get her Santa visit book because the book's open in like a week and a half and she's got advanced booking. Just a reminder. Not convinced yet about Christensen. Hope he proves me wrong. It's a big challenge for him, and it's one thing that Jesse Marsh pointed out in the press conference is that this is a different challenge for Christensen, and I think it's a bit of an awakening for him, where he had said he's used to being involved in maybe 20 or something impactful moments in a game before, and that was when he was playing in the Champions League, and now he's finding himself involved in a lot less impactful moments. So I think it's an adapting period for him, and I do believe he is still 100%. He's our best choice at right back right now. Yeah, Jesse's acknowledged 𝐿𝐶, so clearly we're in for him. Probably trying to get him on the cheap. I can understand some saying it. Yes, that is Ted Garn. I actually picked up on this the other day because someone, I think it was one of the commentators, had said about him being Brazilian. I'm going, but he's a Spanish international. What are you talking about? You do a wee bit of research, and that is correct indeed. He is actually Brazilian born. There you go. There we go. Look way more dodgy in defence. We prefer a left back over a striker. Mick T, is the World Cup affecting the transfer of players coming in? That I don't know. That I do not know at all. What it will do is it will give a lot of our players that aren't involved in the World Cup a breather, a break. A bit like the year we won the championship and Karen Carnage said it herself, along with Jimmy Floyd has a bank account. Said, we only got promoted because of COVID, which we all know is an absolute pile of crap. But a wee breather, it certainly helps in the Premier League. I'm not totally against this sort of World Cup being when it is. It's a sport. It's not a political thing. So I think that actually helps us. With regards to transfers, well, the transfer window I think will still be the same. Players are going to be wanting first team football. This is where I think a striker's going to have an issue. If we're going for a striker that is, on the CDK level, financially, they're not going to want to sit and be back up to Bamford. Okay? They do not want, nobody wants to come and be back up to Bamford. They don't. They want to come in and do it. I've seen someone talking about Guerrero as well. I like Guerrero. I do enjoy watching Borussia Dortmund in general. But I don't think this is anything. I don't think there's anything to it. At least from what I'm talking to you anyway. There's absolutely nothing to it at all. Let me see. There's Derek Burgess. What is the crack? Hope you are well, good sir. Shane Leonard. Yeah. You're going Leeds 1, Chelsea 3 or 4. I really have sounded like the most positive person here because I don't think we're going to concede 3 or 4. I really don't. It's a different style of play now. And I don't think we're as open as many people think we are. Look how easy Saints cut us open down the left. Very weak on that side. Right. Again, I think that comes down to more in those instances. It was an absolute lack of focus more than anything. I said it. Joe Aribo, loved him when he was at Rangers. Loved him. He's obviously a bit of a Rangers fan as well or something somewhere here. And I liked him, and I did say to a lot of people he'll do well in the Premier League. But I tell you what, I never once seen him skip around defenders and a goalie the way he did for that goal. That was awful defending. And again, for the Walker Peters one, I maintain, and people have called me out on it, but I will maintain it, that Meslier should have had that. He should have had that. He shouldn't have got as far as he did, but Meslier should have had that, in my opinion. Getting beat near your near post, it's not for me. But yes, look, we all see different things differently, and that is the beauty of all these opinions. Right, I am going to near I think we're going to call it a day here. We're nearly live for half an hour. So listen, thanks very, very much for joining me today. Please do make sure you smash that like button. Give it a wee share to all your Leeds fans. And leave a comment. Let me know what you think the score of the match is going to be. Make sure you stay tuned to the channel. Oscar will have his pre-match lineup predictor coming out. Again, not too sure if there's opposition preview, and there may very well be a big match preview tomorrow night. I don't think there's one tonight. Again, I've been completely out of the loop for the channel this past week, really. But yes, please do make sure you smash the like, and I will see you all after the match. And if you are going to the Barnsley game, please do come and say hello or whatever if you see me. Until the world stops going around. Leeds.